And we're back.
Hello, everybody, and we are back for another Snarf Talk 2020.
So exciting.
It is exciting. We are again not following rules.
We're 6 feet apart.
We are 6 feet apart, but
Socially distanced.
but we're not wearing masks. And it says if you go out in public to where you can't, well, I guess we are 6 feet apart though. So
Yeah.
they say if you can't stay 6 feet apart, you have to wear a mask.
I've been wearing masks all over. I got myself a couple.
Me
got some homemade ones, but then the other day we ordered some and just got them that were like I got from some website that makes them.
Really?
That's some like stretchy material. And our t-shirt guy who is making t-shirts now
As we speak,
for
he
all
is
you t-shirt people.
pressing and printing
Yes.
shirts right now in the middle of the night.
He is making me a bunch of masks, a bunch of iTrees masks.
Ooh.
But we can make some Snarf
I
Talk
know.
masks.
We should really make Snarf Talk masks. We should have done that 5 weeks ago.
Well, we're going to have masks on for the next year and a half, so I think
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Year and a half?
Yeah, probably.
No, it isn't.
I think so. Yeah.
No. We'll get into phase 3 or 5 soon, Chris.
I don't even get started on the phases.
So if you aren't caught up with what's going on in Illinois, the governor has put out these phases to reintroduce people to like the public, basically.
to life.
And it's strange.
Strange and depressing.
It's very depressing. Every other state is just like, yeah, go to the beaches, have
Just
fun.
like, open it up. And ours is like, there won't be a restaurant open until at least like November.
And then by that time,
like July, I think.
And by that time, no restaurants will exist.
That is true.
So,
And unfortunately, we're kind of joking around, but there's already like at least 2 or 3 businesses right here in our backyard, small businesses that are already done, unfortunately. And then you hear more about it every day.
yeah, and it's going to be more and more every week because nobody's making money being closed. And it's really hard, especially for restaurants. I mean, every restaurant wants you to order takeout. Like, we are open for takeout, curbside pickup, whatever you got to do. But not everybody orders from every single restaurant. So
What this really has shown me recently is that the government, but also people, most people have absolutely no idea what it takes to run a business.
right.
They just have
that's
no clue.
very true.
They're just like, no, just shut it down. And, the government's got some loans, just get some disaster loans. They don't understand the amount of money that has to come in and go out on a daily basis just
To operate.
take your slim profit margin. That's enough to make the same amount of money
In order to stay open the next day.
that stay out the next day and to eke out some sort of a living that usually is less than what somebody makes sitting
Yes.
at the post office.
Right. Hey, don't be knocking on government workers.
No, I'm not
Chris.
knocking. I'm just saying, like,
No, I know. You're
it's
right.
not. I understand that you look around and you see some very successful business owners, but most business owners are not living lives of extravagance.
No, they're riding the line.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they don't have it comfortable, and I say this all the time to people because this is how my life operates. It's just like juggling.
Yeah.
You got balls that you're throwing in the air, and if everything continues to go and you continue to juggle,
The flow continues.
the flow continues, and that flow produces cash flow, which allows you to grab another ball and throw it in the air. And
Yeah.
you just keep doing that, and
Until you're loaded with balls.
yeah, until you can either make enough to quit or you do that, indefinitely. And what you can't do is start dropping those balls. And this has been like, pretend that juggler
Yeah.
has got those balls in the air.
Yeah. All the balls.
And then COVID-19 comes in
It starts
with
punching
a
balls out of the
chainsaw
air.
and cuts the juggler in half.
Oh, okay. I thought he was coming and punching those balls out of the air, but no, he's just going to cut the juggler in half.
Yeah. Then all those balls fall. And so
They
does
do.
the blood of the juggler.
Yes.
Is that a good quality?
I think that's spot on. I mean, if I thought of how COVID-19 was going to affect somebody, it would be cutting them in half with a chainsaw and seeing their blood spill on the
And
ground.
then doing like blood angels in it.
right.
And then like skipping around.
Yes,
To find
and
the next
covering the
juggler.
balls in blood and
Yeah. I like,
And your
sometimes I
body.
like producing metaphors that are just so complicated
and horrific
that they actually make it less ability to understand what you're trying to.
Yeah, I think you've done that
Yeah.
pretty well here. But I do understand that this is an issue. Obviously, it's a big issue for everyone. And I don't know. We're not going to get into politics or anything like that.
Well, it's a big issue for some people. That's what is frustrating, because there's a lot of people that it isn't an issue for because they're at home continuing to get paid.
Like me. But, I mean, in my personal life, I'm on the opposite side of this than you are. I go to work. My wife goes to work. We both continue to get paid. It's an inconvenience to us that we can't go out to restaurants or do anything. And our kids, obviously, we're home from school and we have to homeschool them and do all that kind of stuff. But financially, and it hasn't affected anything for us because we continue to work and get paid normally. And we're very comfortable in that. But everyone we know, like all of our close personal friends, are opposite. And
well, I mean, it's not even like I don't know yet how it's going to affect me financially. I really don't know what the long-term ramifications of that is. My only point in saying that was not to disparage those people. I'm just saying that a lot of those people tend to have opinions about certain things that they have no basis. I mean, if you're sitting at home or you're working from home and you're inconvenienced, but your livelihood has not disappeared, and you don't understand how businesses operate, and you don't understand the ramifications of how small businesses will eventually devastate the economy in your local community, which is going to affect you eventually. If you can't understand that, which a lot of people seem to not be able to,
they ignore it.
Then you have opinions that are not based in reality.
The problem with it right now, though, is that even if they do realize that, what effect can we have at the moment to, change it? We have none.
Well, it's hard to have an effect when everybody's scared.
Yes.
Because despite you maybe wanting things to open up or do what you want, the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be too plain scared to participate in that economy. And I get it. I get that. I mean,
I get it to a point, but most people weren't scared of random diseases, any disease, before this. And I know, a
narrative has been created.
Yes, everything has been so created and put in front of you to make you scared. I try to tiptoe around this because I don't want to say that that media and the government just did this on purpose to make you scared, but the way it was put forth, the way it was put in front of everybody, immediately made everybody terrified. I mean, I wasn't at first, but then at a time I was like, oh, holy shit, maybe this is a real thing. It is a real thing, but I just don't think it's to the point where we need to destroy the state. Well,
I mean, I think that making assumptions that the media or the government or certain politicians are out there with ill intent, I don't think that's the case. I think that you can find conspiracy wherever you look, but the reality of the situation,
everybody has,
and a lot of that, I think it's just absolutely ridiculous. Not saying all I can say is I don't know the truth, and nobody knows the truth, and nobody knows the answer, and nobody knows what to do. Nobody.
No,
and the people that are making decisions, they don't know what to do. So they have to just make decisions. And I'm sure ego plays into it, yes. I'm sure power plays into it, yes. But I don't think that there's a vast conspiracy, whether you're on the right or left, by any group, probably. I think most people in general are well-intentioned.
And I think here's where the basis of most of the fear came from, is that nobody knew anything about this to begin with.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before. There was just so many guesses on treatment, on what to do to protect yourself, all of these things, everything about the disease, nobody knew about. We didn't have any idea on what to treat it, what caused certain symptoms, all this kind of stuff. Nobody knew anything about it. So everybody got immediately scared because even the professionals that are dealing with infectious disease every day was we're not quite sure what we need to do here.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to find out as soon as we can. And that's what they've been doing. And now we're getting later and later into this pandemic, and they're starting to figure out, actual facts on this disease. And I think we're at a point where local governments can start making decisions that lighten restrictions because of what they are finding.
Right.
And it's just,
I'd agree with that.
For our state, it's not happening.
Yeah, I think I agree with all that. I wish we could maybe put to bed the conspiracies that this was somehow created a decade ago by Bill Gates to patent a vaccine to
implant a chip in your
control
body.
all this, because the reality is, we have been the world or science or whoever has been working with coronaviruses for decades. There's a reason.
There's so
for
many
that.
different strains of it.
I mean, they've been looking for cures for the common cold, which is largely caused by coronaviruses, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And
SARS.
if SARS happened in early 2000s, there's a whole thing going right now.
SARS was in 2009, and that's a type of coronavirus.
Yeah, and there's a whole thing going around right now about, they created this in the mid 2000s. They created a vaccine. It's they probably were working on it because of SARS, and probably after that,
Yes.
they're like, hey, this is going to be a problem. If it's not this one, it's the next one.
Wasn't H1N1 is a type of coronavirus too, right?
I'm not sure if that one is.
I know SARS was. I didn't know if.
Don't you think it's a lot more reasonable to assume, rather than a vast conspiracy, that they knew that coronaviruses were going to be an issue, specifically after SARS and MERS. They knew there was a high, animals have lots of coronaviruses.
Sure.
There's vaccines now for cattle and other animals, I believe, for coronaviruses. They knew bats had a lot of coronaviruses. They knew that something like this is eventually going to happen.
Yes.
So isn't it feasible to think, oh, well, that's why they were studying bat coronaviruses in the lab? I'm not saying it didn't get released or played with on accident. I think it probably did, and I think we're learning that maybe it did. But that doesn't mean that they were doing it with a nefarious intent.
Right.
It just means that, they recognize that bat coronaviruses could be an issue.
I
so
agree.
they've been working on them in this lab.
Absolutely. They're working on diseases we don't even know about right now in labs that, they're working on so many things in labs that we don't know about. So yes, absolutely. I would agree
So why
with
make that leap to think, this was all done with nefarious intent?
Because that's immediately what happens, because it's a political game for a lot of people.
People think about the easy answer, which is probably or they were just working on them in that lab. Yes, maybe they were working on something. Yes, it maybe got out, but maybe they were working on it because
that's what they do.
Right. Maybe there's a good reason to do that.
Yeah, I think there was a good reason.
I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong. This isn't really even my opinion, because I don't know anything, and nobody does.
You really don't.
And I don't really want to make a statement because I could easily be wrong.
No, for the longest time, I've figured out that you really don't know anything.
No,
and it's
full agreement with you.
It's a tough pill to swallow when you realize it yourself,
Yeah, I mean, I'm always comforted in the fact that I always know that I know more than you.
Oh yeah, I'm dumb as a brick. I mean,
let's move away from this because I'm done with it.
You know what really stretches my springs, Chris?
Oh yes. What, Jerry?
It's a simple one, and people are gonna think well, yeah, that would stretch my springs too. It's flat tires. Okay.
Well, yeah, duh. That stretches everybody's springs.
Here's the deal with my spring stretcher, though. I buy brand new tires for vehicles sometimes, and recently in the last 2 years, I've bought a set.
More often than not, you don't push it.
I bought brand new tires for the van.
Okay.
2 years ago. I bought brand new tires for my truck 1 month ago.
Yes.
And in the month that I bought those tires, my wife's van ended up getting 3 nails in her tire, in 2 different tires. And now my truck, I got the largest bolt I think I've ever seen, just jammed right in that mother.
Nestled.
Yeah. It made a home and it destroyed it. I had to get a brand new tire because it ruined it.
Yeah, and there's no such thing. By the way, there is no such real thing as a tire warranty.
Everybody keeps telling me, did you have a tire warranty?
Bullshit.
Did you have a tire warranty?
Every tire you buy has a warranty, and I've never in my entire life had one honored.
No, it doesn't happen.
No.
Well, so
it's a fake warranty, people. Stop falling for the warranty of the
So,
tires. They're always going to say, oh, something blew out the sidewall. That's not covered.
Yep. No, it's not covered.
Well, yeah, if nothing goes wrong, it's covered.
Right.
But the second something goes wrong, it's not covered.
And so in my wife's situation, like we got these brand new tires put on the van, and we had a serial nail thrower on Dwight Road. Do you remember this?
No.
A couple of years ago. So it was on the north side of DuPont Road. So that's just, at the time we lived in a different house.
It's like
we were
a
still
daily
building our
route for
house.
me.
And we drive it every single day. Well, this was during a time that construction was going on and people were routed onto Dwight Road for a little while. They were coming off 47 and going on Dwight Road. A lot of traffic was happening there. And apparently somebody that resided on the road was sick of all the traffic and people speeding and decided to throw a bucket of nails out on the road every day.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's like
at
a
6 o'clock in the morning,
criminal offense, right?
Yes, it is. So I had stopped one morning on the way to work to clean up nails off of the road because I saw a bunch of nails, and another guy stopped. We were like brushing them all off the road. And then the county was involved, and they ended up putting like one of them speed signs. Like it's like a radar, shows you your speed, but it also has a camera on it. So they put 2 different cameras on Dwight Road because somebody kept throwing nails out on purpose, and everybody knew they were doing that. Well, during this time, that's when my wife gets 3 nails in her tire because of that. So, like I said, brand new tires. There was less than 100 miles on her tires, and she got 3 nails in them. I put 3 different plugs in them, and it was ridiculous. I was pissed. And one of the plugs didn't work, and then we ended up replacing the tire. Okay, so that one's done. Now I get brand new tires on my truck 1 month ago, and I just happened to think one day I'm going to go to Burkhart's in Coal City because I haven't been to Burkhart's in a long time, and apparently they got a lot of good sales going on. So I had my mask ready to go. I go there after work. I pull into their parking lot, and I heard this thing go into my tire. They had the windows down. It was a really nice day. It was a week ago Wednesday, and I heard it go into the tire and then click, click, click. And I park and I get out, and it's a giant carriage bolt just stuck into my tire. And I had to obviously put my spare on at the time. And I am just so furious of things going into my tires. Why is this so frequent in my life?
Nail thrower? That's what
I don't know. They took the cameras down, and it's never happened again. I never found out if they ever caught who it was, but I know it was somebody that was doing it on purpose because Grundy County Police Department put out a thing on Facebook saying like, this is happening and you need to stay off this section of road because we know somebody's doing it.
Well,
so you know what stretches my springs, Chris? Idiots that throw nails on the road and having to buy new tires all the time after I have just bought new freaking tires.
I mean, I have to knock on wood here, but I used to go through tires all the time. Same thing, but I haven't had one in a while. So
we'll
see.
Get ready to buy a new tire.
They go out on my tractors all the time, which is super annoying, or like implements.
Well, yeah, it's because you got old shitty equipment. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's why. No, it's not true. It's all brand new.
And I'm like definitely one of those that if I get a flat tire or realize that I have a flat tire, but I'm like pretty close to here or my house,
you will drive on that.
Oh yeah.
So
because I know the tire's junk anyway, so I'm just like, I'm gonna get home and not have to be on the side of this road. I've probably ruined multiple tires that way. Just like, well, shoot for the moon.
Yeah,
let's go.
Here's another thing: like aluminum wheels are a nightmare to get lugs off of. Lug nuts or even off the hub, because something with the aluminum
electricity
reacts with the lug. I don't know what it is, but they seize up on there real bad. And I bent, so the wrench that comes in the truck, I bent that in half trying to get 2 of them off, and Clinton Pointer saved the day.
There you go.
I texted him and he came with a large breaker bar and we got him off.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about the time I blew a tire in Mexico? Ever tell you that story?
Was it in a Jeep on the beach?
No. No, that was a different time that one of our friends buried a Jeep in the beach.
All right, that's what I was thinking of.
And it wasn't our Jeep, actually. It was somebody else's Jeep. We just helped him out.
Okay.
No, so me and my dad had rented it was not a Jeep, but it was like a SUV. And we were driving across the very southern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Oh,
from
the Yucatan.
Carmen to, I can't remember the name of the other town, but we were like right by the Belize border.
San Diego.
Yeah. We were right by the Belize border. This is out nowhere, in the middle of Nowheresville. Little Mexican towns.
Where you get murdered.
No, that doesn't happen in Mexico. Anyway.
Okay.
It's super safe. That's all bullshit. Anyway,
It's not.
that'll come to play in my story later. So we're driving across. We're in the middle, and this is like a probably 4-hour drive across there. We're about halfway, and
50%, if you will.
yeah, we have a tire blowout in the vehicle. So we're like, oh man, well this sucks.
Shucks.
So there was a spare, so we pull over the side of the road. We jack it up, and then we realize there's no lug wrench at all.
Yeah, nothing.
And
Didn't have a
it was
four-way in your pocket.
just about dark. It was just about dark. And so we're like, well, I don't know what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. So ended up, I have to wave down a truck driver. And the plan was I was going to get in with this truck driver.
Smart.
Go to the next little village and just start walking around trying to find somebody that could borrow me a lug wrench to give.
Why wouldn't
me
you
a
ask the truck driver if he had one?
Well, I mean, we were going to do that too.
Okay.
But anyway, so the truck driver shows up, or we wave him down. I'm getting ready to get in with him. He didn't have one that fit or whatever. So I'm getting ready to go to this town. It's dark now in the middle of nowhere along the Belize border.
Nice.
And I speak a little bit of Spanish, but nobody down there speaks English because you're not in a tourist area at all. And this little dude in a little Honda, Civic hatchback pulls up right when we're getting ready to leave in this thing. And the guy comes running out with a lug wrench.
With a wrench.
And we changed the tire on the road. I remember we couldn't get,
This was before you got in the truck.
Yeah, the truck driver was stopped, but I hadn't gotten it. I was still trying to communicate all this to him with mostly hand signals. So we changed the tire. I remember that, you know how sometimes it's really hard to get the tire off, even if you get the bolts off, but they're like stuck on.
Yes, that's what I was talking about with my aluminum.
Go out into this like little jungly area and find like a big rock to just throw at the tire. So we eventually get it off, and we finished our journey. I can't remember. Oh, we were going to, I'm looking it up on the map. What was the little town we were going to spend the night in? Chetumal.
I remember that town.
It's a bigger city. Anyway,
Yep.
So we get into this there's this like one hotel in this town, and it's got a bunch of like international flags outside. We didn't have a hotel reservation or anything. We just showed up. It's got all these international flags outside. So we're like, all right, we'll go there. So we go into this hotel. It's probably 9:00 at night at this point or something like that. And, we get a room. And I'm like, well, and I was probably in my early 20s at this point.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I'm going out. So
Sure.
Dad went to bed. I went out all night, partied, went to the bars, drinking shots with people, having the greatest time in the world. Nobody there speaks any English. And just had a great time. Come back.
Sounds
the
great.
next day. We were still there, and we called my mom with the hotel phone or whatever. And we're like, yeah, we're in Chetumal. We're heading back up to Puerto Morelos today. And she's like, you're in Chetumal? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, it was all over the news last night. There was this big, like, armed revolt in Chetumal, and, like, this rival local government body or people, like, stormed the city and were, like, taking it captive. I'm like, nope.
Didn't happen.
Partied here all night long, looking out the window now. There's nothing going on.
It was just you and your dad there? That's it?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Looking at soybeans?
We had gone down. So we have a buddy that lives in Campeche, which is about 4 hours west of like Cancun, 6 hours west of Cancun on the other border. And we went there to look at some investment property, hang out with him. It was pretty cool. He's got like a little 6-seater Cessna, so we flew around. We did some. At the time, we were looking at investing in a shrimp farm, and then he had a big tree farm where they produced teak and mahogany wood.
Ooh,
and
that's something you need to get into.
Yeah, and they were also building. They were going to start trying to build out a resort on that side, so we were kind of looking at that. So we had gone over there, and then from there we went down to the bottom to like Carmen, and this is when we were driving over to Chetumal, mostly just on our way back, taking the long way, checking things out for a couple days. We used to do that all the time. We would go to Mexico all the time. So all the crap you hear on the news most of the time is just like all the stuff you hear about coronavirus on the news all the time. Like I have never been in a situation, at least in the Yucatan, where I've ever felt in any sort of danger. I mean, I feel safer there than walking around in Joliet, probably.
I could agree with that.
Now, I've been to Acapulco once, where I, again, didn't necessarily feel unsafe because I was with a group of guys. There was like 4 of us. But in Acapulco, it was just nonstop, like people coming up offering you drugs and prostitutes and all kinds of stuff. And it just felt a little more unsafe.
Yes.
Never really had any of that happen in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is actually the safest part of Mexico. It's super safe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's definitely. So in Acapulco, though, there's worse. And when we were in Acapulco, when we got back, that's when they found like all
10
the
headless
decapitated bodies and stuff like that, which maybe happened. I don't know, but I mean, we didn't see it. So
no, of course you didn't.
They generally don't mess with Americans down there too much. They know where their bread is buttered.
Well, that's good.
Tourism.
They shouldn't.
I wouldn't go back to Acapulco, though. First of all, it wasn't that nice. Second off, it was just kind of sleazy. I didn't like it. Not like the Yucatan, which is like laid back people, just a lot better.
It's just too like touristy.
Yeah, but I've been in the heart of Cancun. You hear bad shit about Cancun. I've been in the heart of Cancun, walking around by myself. Never had any issues. But I'm not out buying drugs either,
You weren't?
No.
Oh,
but that's when you hear all these people that get in trouble.
Exactly.
They're doing shady things.
Yeah. If you do play stupid games, win stupid prizes, bud.
Now, I was at spring break in Cancun once, and one of my buddies got jumped by the cops. He said they were probably fake cops. He got jumped.
Yeah.
Beat up pretty bad and robbed.
Who?
Mr. Pete Orticle.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was actually with him walking home, and we were well intoxicated.
Sure.
At some point, I got distracted and went into a gas station, and when I came back out, he was nowhere to be seen.
And gone? Like, how did he come back?
I just assumed he kept walking back to the hotel.
Yeah. He didn't.
Apparently not. Well, he got there eventually.
Oh, my God.
With no wallet or money or anything.
You have a lot of really good stories.
Yeah. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg, Mr. Gary.
Well, I have some news.
Yes.
Would you like to hear some news? Actually, I got a real quick would you rather. You want to do a would you rather?
Yes, I would.
Well, would you rather be invisible or hear people's thoughts?
Can you turn those powers off?
No.
Wow. They would both be terrible then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, you can.
If you can turn them on and off, I'd rather have the invisibility.
I completely agree with you.
I don't
want to hear anybody's thoughts. I really don't, because you would be miserable.
Yeah.
Even if you could leave them off the majority of the time, but as soon as you turn them on and you hear one person's thoughts that you really enjoy, like it's a very good friend of yours, or like you're close with the family or whatnot.
Even from your own family. I mean, you're going to hear bad thoughts.
It's like that is something I don't want to do.
Just because you think something or something runs through your head doesn't mean that's what you believe.
But even being invisible is somewhat creepy, right? Like that's a creepy thing.
Very creepy. I don't know that I'd want either, but there could be instances, I guess, where invisibility would come in handy.
I think, to me, honestly, even just going to the grocery store, I'd rather be invisible. Because there's always those awkward encounters with people that I've known, like I went to high school with.
Walmart is the number one for that.
Yeah, I went to high school with a lot of people.
How much dodging I have to do at Walmart.
I am a very, very friendly person. I'm overly friendly, and I like to talk. If you haven't gathered that over 74 episodes, but I could talk to a frog. But a lot of times when I'm in a store, I just don't want to have the interaction with somebody that I feel is going to be awkward because I knew you 15 years ago.
Right.
Totally. And
agree.
it's just like, yep, we did grow up together. We have had no contact for the last 15 years. And just because we knew each other, I don't want you to feel like you have to say something to me because I'm not going to talk to you.
What I've come down to now is just you say like, hey, and then you say their name. So they
A lot of times I don't remember these names.
If you do remember, a lot of times I do. Like it just then they feel validated. Like, oh
Yeah. There's a big thing in saying someone's name, like in a conversation.
Totally.
When you repeat someone's name.
I try and do it more now because I'm really terrible with names. I mean, like really, really bad.
What's mine?
Shit. Jerome?
Yes.
No, I am really, really bad with names. Like I can meet somebody and talk to them and hang out with them all night long.
And forget it.
Within 5 minutes. And then I got to spend the whole night like, oh, man, I hope it doesn't come up anything related to names because I have no idea.
I'm very similar to that. I don't ever remember them either. Because
I don't even lots of times remember people's faces. I think I got
I
Brad
remember.
Pitt disease.
Yeah, what is that? What is
face
that?
blindness, right?
Yes.
That's a common name for it. I can't remember the real name. Where you can't remember people's faces.
That's so weird. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like Brad Pitt really has that?
He really says that he has it, yes.
He really says
How would I know?
that.
How would we know?
I mean, call him. I don't know. It's that easy.
I'll call him. We'll find out for the next episode.
All right. Well, I got some news real quick because we have a top 10 to get to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We should have
this
brought that up
week.
from the start. We're going to do top 10 80s action movies.
Get to the chopper.
Just going to say that.
Get out of here.
That was good.
Yes. So
That
that's
was like the second best Arnold Schwarzenegger impression I've ever heard.
really?
Yeah.
Why is it the second?
Alan Schaefer.
Really?
Fantastic.
Wrench?
Yeah.
Come on.
He can wrench himself up a good Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
I think I'm better. Anyways, so I do have a little bit of news right off the top. There is a comic book I read quite a bit ago, a little while ago, that was called The Old Guard by Greg Ruka. Mm-hmm. And I kind of forgot about it, and I forgot. I know it was news that I had up, quite a while ago, but Netflix picked it up as a movie, and they are producing a movie. It has already been made, and they released images of this movie.
I think we talked about that.
Just today they released the images. We have talked about that it was going to be a movie,
right.
yeah. But they released images of that movie today, and Charlize Theron is the main character. Theron, whatever. And it looks pretty good. I mean, from the images, it just looks like people dressed up as people.
Yeah.
That are fighting other people. I loved the comic book. I think it's incredible, and I always suggest that people read this. It's a different take on, kind of like a common story. It's like these guys are, they don't die. They've been alive for, she's been alive for 500 years. But they are a group of the old guard, that go around and dispatch bad people. And that's all they do. They are tasked to go around and get rid of people and to protect their, I don't know if it was a city or a country, but they're protecting something. They have to go around and kill bad people, and they can't die. They're basically immortal. And I thought it was a really intriguing story. It'll be really interesting to watch this movie. I'm excited for it because Greg Ruka wrote the screenplay. And he also wrote the comic book. So anytime the comic book writer is involved with the movie, I feel like it should be on point, right where it needs to be.
Yeah, as long as they're a good screenwriter. It's not the same thing.
It isn't the same thing. I just feel like the story that you want to tell, though, should be pretty similar and on point. You're not going to remove yourself from the story.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you get away from the original writer, they go their own direction with the same characters, and it's just not... It doesn't end up being doesn't feel like the same people. But he wrote it, set to release in July, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Next one is that. So you like Harry Potter, right?
Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yes, I love Harry Potter.
So they put together the majority of the cast and did a live and recorded reading of the Harry Potter books.
Nice.
And you can watch a video of Daniel Radcliffe and what's that girl's name?
Hermione Granger.
But I mean in real life. Emma
Watson.
Is that it? Yeah, Emma Watson, right? Yeah, and then, the redheaded kid and the other people.
Ron Weasley.
Yeah, they're all reading Harry Potter books
Rupert
to you.
Grint, I think is his
Yeah,
name.
you're right. No, you're right. I just thought this stuff is really cool to me that they're reading the books to you and you can watch them read the
I
books
don't
as
think I would
their own
watch
characters.
that, but if it was an audio book, I might listen.
I probably wouldn't either. I just think it's really cool that these people are doing that right now and reading the books that they starred in, So they did that. Also, Andy Serkis just today, again, also announced that he's going to do a 12-hour marathon live read of The Hobbit.
Sweet.
And first off, and he's the only one.
Well, he could do every voice easily.
He absolutely could.
That guy's a master.
But for 12 hours?
Straight.
So you're going to watch this guy for 12 hours read a book? Like, what? Is he going to say, like, hang on a second, I got to go pee? He's going to have to.
Right. Unless he's just going to hook a contraption up.
I guess, I mean.
He could just let her fly.
He could. He could do that. But you also need to, like, drink and eat. Don't you?
Well, they drink and eat in the book, so.
Yeah,
If
maybe
you
you'll
just
just
time
do
it
it at
right.
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody could do it, Andy Serkis could do it.
Yeah.
But that one I thought was pretty intriguing. I'm not a huge fan of The Hobbit myself.
Oh, the book? It's great. It's a little more kid-oriented, but it's a great book. Yeah, it's a lot easier to read.
It is.
That's like one that you read in like middle school.
It's way easier to read than like any of the other Lord of the Rings
Well,
books.
it was meant to be a children's book.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize that.
I believe so. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's going to happen, and I didn't write down the date, but it's happening soon.
Sweet.
That was it. And then the last little bit of news I had is that so our buddy Dude, he's been on the show a bajillion times now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever going to be invited back, but
We'll see.
He has been on the show.
Not with COVID. He's a known exposure. I can't
absolutely.
have
He's
him in here.
absolutely quarantined.
Yeah.
He let us know that a game I used to play all the time, Star Wars: The Force Awakens 1 and 2.
Force Unleashed.
Unleashed. 1 and 2 on Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you. Was selling for $5.
Yeah.
$5. You could buy 2 games that I used to play all the time, and now I'm playing again.
Yeah.
all
Same
the
here
time.
because I bought them too.
For $5. And I was like, I have to get this now. And then I've been introducing my children to it.
Yeah.
I bought a gaming headset for Grady recently,
Nice.
and he's very excited about that.
So I've been playing through mostly Force Unleashed 2. I played a good bit of it. It's not a long game, I don't think.
No, I don't. Neither one of them.
I'm
were
to the
very
point
long.
where they're going back to Camino, so I don't know where that is in the game. But
I mean, I don't know. I haven't even went to 2 yet. I was playing 1.
and then I started 1 because I figured Cash should start with 1, so we started playing that. Where right from the beginning, you get to be Darth Vader. Is that the beginning?
Yes.
That's where he was playing, so I picked it up. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
The same complaints I had about the game exist. It's incredibly button mashing, repetitive.
Yes.
Although this time around, I feel like I'm utilizing the combo situation a little better, and there's a little more
How do you feel
fun.
like what's the difference between this game and the new one?
Well, I liked the new one a lot more. They're completely different games. First
Well, I
off,
remember you having
I did have some.
issue and bringing up the fact that, like on Force Unleashed, you liked the force powers better
Well,
or
okay.
something like
So
that.
yes, so the force power usage on the Force Unleashed games is off the charts.
It
I mean,
is.
it's insane.
So great. I
So-
think that's the best part.
It is, and it's way better in that respect. However, if you like think about it, you're like, this guy is way too powerful. It's crazy how powerful he is. So in that respect, I
Yeah.
kind of liked it in is it Fallen Order? Yeah, Fallen Order, because it's a lot more subdued what you can do with the Force. But it's not as fun. And the Fallen Order is a puzzle game. It's not really an action game.
Right.
So they're really completely different. It's hard to even.
I get it.
Fallen Order had a better story, although Force Unleashed has a great story too. But Fallen Order has a better story, and I think ultimately better gameplay, and it's a more engaging game. Whereas Force Unleashed, as fun as it is to play for a while, it's so repetitive that it's basically the same thing over and over again. You know,
it is that
you can. I mean, I've played it back now. I probably put 2 or 3 hours into it, maybe, probably not even that much. And like I can set it down. Like I'm good.
Yeah, that's. I remember being that way. Like when they first came out. Like I beat.
It's a little harder than I remember.
See, I thought the first one was pretty easy.
Well, I haven't played the first one back yet.
Oh,
so I've been playing 2.
And that's what I was doing, is playing 1. And I remember the first time I played 1, I thought it was relatively easy. And then 2, I don't even know if I don't think I beat Force Unleashed 2.
Well,
I don't think I ever.
had no memory of the storyline, really.
I don't even right now, because I haven't played any of it or done anything with it.
I just didn't remember a lot of it. It's a beautiful game. It just made me think about the fact that game looks so good, and it's from like 2007, and you know, it looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Comparatively, it looks like a modern game, like it could have came out yesterday. Force Unleashed 1 doesn't look as good as 2.
No, because Force Unleashed 1 was released still when it was PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
No,
wasn't it?
No.
Did it come out on Xbox 360?
Yeah, that was a 360 game.
Well, so was Force Unleashed 2 then.
Yeah, they both were.
But they were 5 years apart?
I don't think they were that far apart. I think they might have been a couple years apart.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was relatively quickly. I also bought
That's crazy.
Academy. Two was another one that was for sale. That was an original Xbox game. That was also on sale. I bought that one because that was a really fun game. I haven't gone back and played it. The graphics are way, way, way worse.
Oh,
I mean, it's not even close.
So were these only for sale on that day?
Yeah, I think
okay,
so.
So all of you that are listening to this have missed out on this incredible.
They had a bunch
sale.
of other ones. They had Republic Commando, which was a fun game. They had Jedi Starfighter, which was an okay game. They had...
You know what I'm really looking forward to is that on Nintendo Switch, they're coming out with the pod racing game.
Yeah.
The Nintendo 64 pod
I have
racer.
it on my computer.
They're
Actually, on this laptop, I have that game.
Yeah, well, it's coming out on Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be way better.
So I actually had...
I'm so excited
there was a Star Wars sale on Steam, like in the fall. Remember I was telling you?
Yes.
I got every Star Wars game ever made for like $80.
Yeah.
And that included both the Force Unleashed games. But when they were available for console, I'm like, well, for $4, I'd rather play it on the console.
Yeah,
than
absolutely.
the computer.
I would much
especially
rather play it on
that game.
console.
They also had Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2.
And you...
I didn't buy those.
Oh, I thought you got them.
I have them on my computer.
Yeah,
but I didn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
them on my console.
Oh,
yet.
okay, I got you.
So anyway, yeah, that's exciting. And while we're on Star Wars news, there's another bit that came out.
Go for it.
And I don't know if this is new specifically, but they have announced a new series of books and comics called Star Wars: The High Republic.
Oh, yes.
And it's going to be all taking place like 200 years before.
We talked about this before.
Okay. Well, there was some new news about it recently, but basically they were just giving the titles to some of the books. And
all right. What are they?
Coming out. I don't have that on me. I was just...
Oh, I thought you would have the titles on you.
But they announced too a Disney Plus show that's going to go along with that.
Really?
Live action, I believe. That's what the big news was about. I should have that pulled up before I
have brought it up. I would have thought you would have had the news ready when you were going to bring up the news.
They also announced a new Star Wars movie that will be written and directed by
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Yes, I posted that on our social medias, and I got really excited for it right away because he did one episode of The Mandalorian, which was probably my favorite episode, and it was the last one because it's just incredible. He did a really good job of that, and apparently he's writing and directing a movie, live action movie, full length live action, extreme sci-fi ball buster of a movie, is what I've heard.
Yeah, Star
and if you
Wars
don't
new
know-
show set in the High Republic. I'll find this out. Go ahead.
If you don't know who Taika Waititi is, he also did Thor Ragnarok, which is one of Chris and I's favorite Marvel MCU.
Don't speak for me.
I mean,
But
I
it
know,
is.
I know everything about you, and yeah, it's one of the best movies in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe. It's incredible. He's done a really good job. There's one movie called Jojo Rabbit that I really want to go see. Not go. I mean, stay in my home and rent it on my TV and watch it. It's like a World War II kind of satire type film about Hitler and everything that happened there, because he stars and directs the movie, and apparently it's phenomenal. It was up for it was up for Academy Awards, but it did win a lot of awards during the award season. Looks amazing. Taika Waititi, pure genius.
Okay, so Star Wars High Republic is going to be the center of future Star Wars storytelling as far as comics and books and all that kind of stuff. The TV show, which they announced recently, that's why it was news, is in works for Disney Plus. It's going to be an all-new female-centric Star Wars series, and it will be written and created by Leslie Headland, who created Russian Doll for Netflix.
I was not a fan of
No,
Russian
I wasn't
Doll.
really either, but whatever. We'll check it out.
I started watching
if it's
that.
a Disney Plus show, I mean, I'm sure it'll be good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will be too, because
So they're doing the Obi-Wan show, the Mandalorian, and this will be the next
Yeah.
live action show they're going to be doing.
When does the Obi-Wan one come out?
I think they announced that too. I don't have it in front of me. I think it's 2021
So Mandalorian 2 is coming out before that.
in November, yeah.
Yeah.
Or October, actually.
Yep, of this year.
So we'll see.
Do you know how excited I am for that Mandalorian show? Like, so excited, because I know Ahsoka Tano is going to be in it.
Yeah.
And, like, this is going to get into some really deep shit in this second season. I guarantee you.
Because we know, so Mandalorian takes place when exactly? Is it after,
it's after
Return of the Jedi?
It has to be. Yes. The Empire's done.
Yeah.
Everything's
right.
gone. Like, Jedi are dispersed, basically.
And we know Ahsoka Tano survives
Yeah.
the Battle of Endor.
Yes.
Because that's shown, spoilers,
Spoilers.
if you watch Rebels, you know that. So she'd be a lot older, but I don't know how long their race lives. So
I
it's
know.
hard to,
Yeah.
she was kind of, if you watch the end of Rebels, you get a clue as to what she's been doing or what she's going to do.
And that'll
after
be
the
part of our what you've been watching.
Alrighty. So
I
the
say-
question is, should we do that now or after our top 10? 'Cause I feel like ours are going to take a while.
Yeah, we're at 48 minutes. I don't know. Let's do the top
We
10.
got to start with the top 10. If we
Yeah,
don't have
let's
time
do
for
the
what we're
top 10.
watching, then it'll have to
Yep.
be next week.
Yep.
All right, guys, this is it. Unless you had more news.
I have none.
This is it. This is the top 10 definitive 80s action movies.
It is. So are we doing the so we also have some honorable mentions. Are those going up on Patreon?
Yep.
Okay.
Honorable mentions will be on Patreon, and they will be a humdinger. 'Cause I got some good
Humdingers.
ones.
We got 5 of them a piece. So that's
5
another
apiece.
10 picks
It's like a whole nother show.
that you can hear on patreon.com/snarfcomics.
All right, so let's start it off right, and we'll just get right into it, and we'll go with number 10.
Go for it. You go.
My number 10 is a little Arnold Schwarzenegger joint
Oh, really?
called Conan the Barbarian.
You know, okay, go for it. What do you
I-
got for that?
It's just a great, epic fantasy
It is.
action movie. It's a lot of fun. It's just one I've always liked. And, granted, I'm a little shoo-in for the fantasy genre.
You are.
But, if a lot of this list, and there's a lot of great action movies that were on my list, and a bunch of them are going to be honorable mentions. But I gotta go with something that I would want to watch still. Like I would sit down and watch right now. And that is definitely one of them. The first Conan the Barbarian one. Just always loved that movie and just thought it was awesome.
Okay. That's so Conan the Barbarian, or was it Conan the Barbarian or Conan the Destroyer?
Wasn't that the second one?
Is that the second one?
I don't remember. Whatever the first one is. It's the first one's Conan the Barbarian, so
you're right. Okay. I guess I didn't even know that they made two of those.
Yeah, there was more than one
before. Okay. So
swords and sorcery. That's my jam. You know that.
Yeah, swords. Yes, I do know that, and I remember getting yelled at about it with the sci-fi
and written by
fantasy.
Oliver Stone, who I like his stuff for the most part.
Rest in peace, Oliver Stone.
James Earl Jones, the whole thing.
Yeah, he's great. All right, my number 10 is going to be a little jam. It's a Patrick Swayze movie, if you can believe it. And I do love Patrick Swayze because he is quite the looker, you know? It's a movie called Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
And Red Dawn, I used to watch that all the time. We got satellite relatively early, and the USA Network used to play movies like constantly that were older type movies. There's another movie on here that I'm going to say the same thing for because they played this one all the time too. But Red Dawn, so I don't know if you know about it. It's like, so the Soviets were attacking.
Was it Washington or
Colorado?
Like, was it Colorado? No.
Yes, it was like a small town Colorado
I thought it was
town.
in Washington or Oregon. Okay.
And so like there was two brothers, Patrick Swayze and another guy. I don't remember. Oh, Charlie Sheen. I think it was Charlie Sheen.
I don't remember. I just remember Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen like try to escape with their friends like into a forest, and they fight the Soviets that were trying to take over their town. I don't know. I loved it. It was like it's kind of an adventure film too because it's like a teen.
Oh, dude, it's
movie,
one of the best. I love that movie. It's so fun.
So fun.
It's everybody's fantasy of like
it's
what
like
would happen if you got invaded and you or your friends got to make a little militia.
Yes, and it was like playing army in the backyard that I used to do all the time, but they were doing it for real, like which is not actually fun if
Right.
you've ever been in war. But yeah, I don't know. It's a really fun movie, and I love it.
Did you ever watch the remake?
No, I didn't know they made a remake.
What? You didn't know there was a remake?
I did not. 2012,
and it basically was the same story, except I think it was North Koreans.
Well, I'm not scared of them.
The film starred Chris Hemsworth and Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson.
We just talked about him last week.
Yeah, he's in Future Man.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Mr. Negan himself.
Yeah, Negan. Yeah. He's probably the bad guy, I would assume.
I did watch the remake. I have no memory of it. I don't remember it being particularly bad. So that's a good sign.
Can't be. The film itself is just good.
Yeah.
So that was my number 10.
Good.
Your number 9, Christopher.
My number 9 is another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Can you believe it? The biggest action star of the 80s makes the list more than once. This, I know a lot of people are going to say, is criminally low on my list.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because it's probably way higher on mine.
It's Terminator.
Oh, okay.
And actually T2 is my favorite by far.
Absolutely.
And
T2 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's one of the best movies ever made, T2. But Terminator 1 is the only one that came out in the 80s, first off, so I couldn't use T2.
Right.
I think it came out in the 90s. But still a great movie.
Yes.
And introduces you to the whole world of the Terminator universe, which has grown and expanded. I've been with it every step of the way. I haven't seen the newest one yet, but I even watched
haven't either.
The Sarah Connor Chronicles that was on Fox. I love that show. And it was also like a movie that was way ahead of its time with a female lead action star,
Sarah
protagonist, yes. And, it's one of those movies that whether I go back to, and I have the whole DVD box set of all of them.
Yes.
And it's not one that I go back to a lot. And most of these aren't, to be honest.
No, but if they're on TV and you see them on,
I'll watch Terminator. Although, like I said, it's a far cry, in my opinion, from T2 as far as action goes, but they do a lot of interesting things in the first Terminator as far as just world building.
Yeah,
Actually, I think they did a little more world building in T2. T2 is a good movie.
Gosh, it's one of the greatest.
So that's my number 9.
Okay. My number 9, and probably again, maybe a lot of people would say this is criminally low, is Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
With Eddie Murphy. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about this movie. Everybody, if you don't know Beverly Hills Cop or you have never seen these movies, for shame.
Yeah.
You know,
that is one that I will definitely watch if it's on ever, because
absolutely
it doesn't even date itself that bad.
Oh my gosh, it's
you
so
can like
fun.
watch it now and you're like, okay. I mean, everything's 80s and dated, but you don't notice it because Eddie Murphy is so amazing.
That's what I was going to say. Eddie Murphy in his prime is very hard to beat on every level. I mean, that dude
Coming to America.
I know.
Trading Places.
They made another one.
Yeah.
They're making a new one, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to come out sometime soon.
Have you watched Trading Places again recently?
Not
It's such a
recently,
good
but
movie.
yeah, it's incredible. Well, we're talking about Beverly
Like
Hills
a
Cop.
bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
So, again, I don't even know where to go with this movie. Beverly Hills Cop, I mean, it's got everything. It's got all of the comedy you want. It's got all of the action you want.
And
it's got Eddie Murphy.
It had to be one of the first, like, in that comedy action vein. Because that was almost kind of its own subgenre of, like, comedy action movies.
I would say so.
And there was other ones that are going to be on my list that are also in that category. But, yeah, it's just a good all around because it's like mystery, detective, comedy, and action movie all in one. It's great.
It's everything you would ever want. And the main character name, well, I mean, which is Eddie Murphy, but
Is Jerry Snyder.
Is Axel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Axel, I don't remember his last name, but it's,
Is it Axel
I know it's
Foley or something?
I don't know. I know it's Axel, and I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's Axel Foley. Wow, I dug deep on that one.
You did.
Detroit,
Yeah.
Michigan.
So that's my
They
that's
have
my
like
number
a
9.
new don't they have a new TV show Beverly, or they made a new movie recently? I don't know. I never saw it, but all of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, they're all good, all of them.
Absolutely.
All right, my number. What am I on? 8. My number 8. Let me find it here. Oh, my number 8 is Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
This is like probably, if I think of 80s movies, one that just always jumps out to me is like quintessential. And it's also one that if it's on TV, which it is a lot, I will definitely watch it. And you gotta love Kurt Russell. He was one of my favorite action.
What a
movie
handsome
stars.
man.
Jack Burton. No, it's a super fun movie. John Carpenter, I didn't realize
It
was
is
the
a John
director of
Carpenter
that.
movie, yeah.
And it's kind of like action adventure, I would say, which
Yes, it is.
one of my favorite little subgenres. So I don't have much else to say about it. It's just a great one.
Yeah, so you may be hearing about this movie
Okay, we'll talk about it later then.
some other time. What are we on?
Number 8.
My number 8 is a little, maybe a little bit of a lesser known film. I don't know if people know about it, but it's called Escape from New York.
Oh, nice.
So it's not a lesser known film, and it is also a Kurt Russell movie.
I love that movie too. And I love Escape from LA, but I think that was in the 90s.
It was, and it was done after this, but I honestly believe, so this is I'm looking it up right now, but it was in 1981. And I truly believe this is another Soviet Union thing too. Just like the Red Dawn, like they're, United States and Soviet Union are, what does it say? Concluding, and an entire island of Manhattan has been converted into a giant maximum security prison.
Wasn't that John Carpenter too?
It is John Carpenter. He
Man,
made
that guy
some
was on
incredible
fire.
movies in the 80s, but
That movie has everything too. By
I
the
think
way.
this
It's
is like
future
the
sci-fi. But
this
also,
is what started action movies in the 80s. I truly believe like Escape from New York is what like everybody designed their action movies off of in the 80s because it started it. And if you're I don't know, Kurt Russell was on fire in the beginning of the 80s with these type of movies, and like I said, John Carpenter he put them all together. It's got planes. Air Force One is involved. Snake. Yeah. I don't know. It's great. I love Escape from New York. If you've never seen it, go watch it.
Also, easy to watch now. Like obviously it looks 80s, but like
yeah. I mean, you got to get over that.
It stands up pretty well.
It's very good.
All right, that's a good one. That isn't on my list, but it probably should be.
Well, you're an idiot.
My number 7 is Aliens, the follow-up sequel to Alien.
Oh, okay.
My favorite of the franchise, by the way.
Yes.
Because it gives you more action. It's a little less horror than the first one. More actiony and more backstory and more world building. And, you know, they realized they got lightning in a bottle with the first one.
Yes.
And then they really, I think, stepped it up.
And then they stepped it up. Is
another female protagonist, by the way.
Absolutely.
Ahead of its
Sigourney
time.
Weaver.
Really ahead of its time.
She is my jam. And then she brought it all back when she was in Avatar.
Yeah.
She did. I felt like I was seeing like her in Aliens again in Avatar. I don't know why, but it really did.
Were James Cameron, right? Yep.
Yes, they were.
Story by, screenplay, and directed by James Cameron. If you haven't seen Aliens, like you saw the first Alien movie, which frankly, and I have this box set too. So, but the other day I popped in Alien, and I was going to watch the whole series again, and I found it a little hard to watch. It's
the first one?
The first one.
Yeah, I
agree.
agree.
Very, very dated and low budgety. But
I think it's very slow.
It is a little slow.
So that was always my problem with the first Aliens is that it was slow.
The second one's a lot more exciting.
Yes. It starts off right off the bat, like, you know, with excitement and aliens. You get to see aliens.
It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Best Actress, Sigourney Weaver. Visual Effects, Supporting Actor for Bill Paxton. Supporting Actress, Best Director, Best Writer, everything. So, the greatest sequel of all time, voted.
Really? I agree.
By Empire Magazine, voted greatest film sequel of all time. It's rare that a sequel is better than the first movie, and this is one of those.
I completely agree.
Your number 7.
All right, where are we at? Number 7 is, whatever. This is my pick. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
The Temple of Doom?
I love it.
That's the worst one.
No, it is not. I absolutely love that movie.
You're insane.
Why?
I mean, I like it too, but it's definitely the worst of the 3.
You think so?
Yes. It's not even close.
I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan.
Why would that one be your favorite?
Because I think it's the one that I've watched more than any of the others.
Shield monkey brains.
Yeah, that's amazing. That dude is so good. What's his name? With the big sword.
I don't remember.
I love Temple of Doom. It's the one with the kid in it, right?
Yeah, Short Round.
Yes, that's why.
It's like in India.
Love it.
It's in India.
So I know the one.
It's got that
the Last
really
Crusade.
Annoying actress that plays like the Hollywood starlet.
Yeah, I don't know who that is though.
I mean, I can't remember her name now. She's famous though.
So here's another reason. Like this is another thing that came up on TV all the time. I always watched it. It had the big rolling ball that he has to dive and get under.
No, that's not in Temple of Doom. That's in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, then I'm wrong on that. But either way, but it's got that spike room.
That's in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No, it isn't. Is Short Round in both of these movies?
No. What do you mean spike room?
There's
Temple of Doom is the one where they go into they got the children working in the mines.
Yes.
And there's a devil cult down there.
Yes.
And they got the cult leader and he pulls the guy's heart out of his chest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
But they
the
also-
sequence you're thinking of with the spikes and shooting the poison darts and the big ball, that's in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
But I thought Short Round was involved with that stuff.
No. No, that's when he goes in.
They're in a room.
He gets the thing. Mm-hmm. All right. The ball, he gets chased out, and then he gets surrounded by all the local like tribesmen, and then the Nazi guy shows up and takes the thing from him.
Yeah, but they also get trapped in a room together, and doors are sliding apart. And I thought spikes were coming out of this room.
It might be, and that happens in like all of them. So
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's true. So, and this is like, you know, I can be very criticized for this, but I'm not
It's the only one with no Nazis in it.
I'm not a big Indiana Jones follower. I'm really not.
That's terrible.
But this movie is the one that I've watched more than any of the Indiana Jones movies, and it's my number 7.
Well, you're gonna get crusaded for that.
Oh, really?
Crucified for that. That's what I should say.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying to make a Last Crusade joke.
Yeah,
but
it did make sense.
because you've picked the worst Indiana Jones movie.
I like it.
Let's go with. I like it too. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's
like it.
vastly inferior.
It's not.
Let's go. That was your number 7. Mm-hmm. My number 6 is one that might not make most people's lists.
Oh, really? So now I need to criticize you for the
No,
pick.
it's just one that I happen to love.
Okay.
And will watch the rest of my days. It's also an Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
Yes.
It is The Running Man.
You know, I don't even know if I've ever seen it.
This is a travesty that you haven't seen it. The
Really?
Running Man is an amazing movie. Richard Dawson's also in it. He was the host of Family Feud.
Oh, yes.
And it was set in the future, and he was the host of like a reality television show where they take criminals or convicts and put them into this basically like a gladiator contest where they have to
Really?
go through this entire game, and each like area has a different gladiator that you have to defeat.
Yeah.
And there's like one of my favorite ones was, I think his name was Dynamo, and he's this big fat opera singer that has like electricity as like his weapon. And there's another one where one of the guys is on ice skates. It's fantastic, and it's just a nonstop action.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just basically nonstop action of Arnold Schwarzenegger running through this whole gauntlet, fighting the various different gladiators.
That's awesome. I love gladiator stuff.
It's amazing. I'm going to see if I can see what the different ones are. What the different bad guys are. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, super fun. Watch it. Definitely get a hold of The Running Man and watch that.
Cool. I will. That sounds amazing. I love everything that Arnold Schwarzenegger has
I just got to look up the Running Man villains because
done.
And I don't know how this has not made it as a television show since then. It's the perfect vehicle.
Sounds really good.
And they just don't make movies like this anymore. First off, wait, Stephen King wrote it? I don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna find out really quick. Anyway, you can go on because I can't seem to find the name of all the different.
Okay.
people.
So my number 6 is a Mad Max movie. Do you know which one?
Well, there's 2 choices here.
I'm only going with one choice in my top 10.
I know which one I like, but I think you're going to go with Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
No, I went with Mad
Beyond
Max
Thunderdome.
Beyond Thunderdome.
All right.
Master Blaster.
I like that one too. Actually, if it were me, I know everybody's going to say Mad Max 2. That's like going to be the higher ranked one.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
I prefer Beyond Thunderdome. I don't know if it's maybe because I was a little older when I saw it, but it's definitely like over the top.
Oh my gosh, is it over the
Ridiculousness.
top? And it's so great. 20 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Is that the one with Tina Turner in it too?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. She's the queen lady, right?
Yeah.
Or, the auntie.
I can't remember the details.
Auntie entity.
That was the first one where things really went like insane.
Oh man,
like
does it
crazy
go
with
insane? And
the fact that guy,
I don't know, Mel
is still,
Gibson does an amazing job in all those movies. Mad Max like set the stage for.
I still love the first one, even though
Oh, yeah.
like it's people like think it's boring a
George-
lot of times.
George Miller knew what he was doing when he made these movies. Like he had a vision for a movie and he did it all 4 times.
And the fact that he came back and made Fury Road,
And then Fury Road comes
and
in.
he was like 80 in his 80s when
I
he
know.
made that.
And it's all practical effects. Like everything in that movie was really shot, really done, really blown up. They were racing cars. People are standing on top of vehicles, playing guitars with fire blowing out of their
Insane.
backs.
It's amazing.
It is
He's making another one. There's another one coming out. There's a sequel to Fury Road coming out.
I didn't know
The guy's
that.
like 90 years old. It's insane.
And he's doing what he wants
And
to
he's
do.
writing it, directing it. He's doing everything. He was born in he's not that old. He was born in 1945. So that would be 75 years
he's
old.
70 something, 75. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still, I mean, you're still up in age at 75 trying to make
it's
these movies.
I thought he was in his 80s, but anyway.
Well-
Still an amazing... has he made other movies? He must have, right?
I don't know. I'm sure he has.
God, he's made so many other movies. I feel like an idiot now. He made Babe.
What?
He made Babe.
No way.
He made Happy Feet. He wrote and directed Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2.
Wow.
And Babe Pig in the City. And
So he's got like a dark side and then he's got a children's side.
The Witches of Eastwick. He did the Twilight Zone movie. I love that movie.
Wow.
Yeah, no, great stuff. Beyond
Yeah.
Thunderdome. I agree with you.
Yeah, Tina Turner. Yeah, she's in it. Okay, that was my number 6.
My number 6 is another one. Oh
No, you should be on 5.
My number 5 is one that people might have higher, but we're in the top 5 now.
We're in the top 5, man.
My number 5 is Lethal Weapon.
Wow.
Mel Gibson.
Hey.
Danny Glover.
I love Danny Glover.
Get it in there. I'm getting too old for this shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Another in the real run of those action comedies in the vein of Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes.
What can you say? Everybody knows Lethal Weapon. All of them are good. I don't care what you say. They're all really good. And Lethal Weapon 3, right? That was a really good one. For some reason, that one sticks out in my mind as one that I really liked. But I think the only one in the 80s was the first one. Because I think it must have been like late 80s, right?
Yeah, it was like a 1987.
Something like that.
That's the year I was born.
Buddy cop, and I don't know if it was the first, but
It's like a
solidified the buddy
classic-
cop genre.
Yes, it is.
1987, you're right. Buddy cop comedy action drama, or not drama. Written by one of our favorites, Shane Black.
He wrote it?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yes, for sure. He wrote that.
I had no idea, man. That's really good of him.
Murtaugh, Riggs. Come on,
No,
son.
It's Murtaugh.
Murtaugh.
Roger Murtaugh. Martin Riggs.
Great one. All right, your number 5.
Love it. My number 5 is RoboCop.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd get that on that list.
Yeah, he has to be in my top 5.
It didn't grace mine.
It didn't?
No.
You're a dick.
I shouldn't have said that. It's not over yet.
I know. And then we have a Patreon one coming out too.
Well, maybe it's on there.
It could be. Well, it's definitely in my top 5. RoboCop is a movie that I watched just as much as Star Wars, just as much as Batman, just as much as anything else in my childhood. I watched it all the time. And all of these, I guess I don't know what channel it was on, but it was on channels that I watched on satellite because apparently we had a lot of channels, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like I remember it because we didn't have satellite. I feel like it was on WGN a lot.
It was on WGN a lot, but RoboCop came on all the time, so I watched it all the time. But I also had the VHS of it, so whenever I wanted to, I'd pop in that VHS. Please be kind, rewind.
Get that VHS life.
And-
Did you have one of those separate VHS rewinder boxes?
No, mine rewinded.
Well, I know, but they made a separate rewinder box that rewound faster.
Yeah, we didn't have one of those. I'm sorry, I wasn't privileged.
I didn't have one either. So I only know one person that had one.
I know somebody that I was either related to or went to their house a lot had one because I remember seeing them. But maybe my grandparents. We didn't have one either way. But anyway, yeah, RoboCop. It's like a strange film, and you going back and watching it. Yeah, it's dated. It's, it is what it is. But a half man, half robot, almost Darth Vader type character, but as in a good person.
That's a stretch.
I mean, he's basically an animatronic person, right?
Yeah.
Which is what Darth Vader is.
Sure. I'll give it to you.
He's not robotic?
No. Darth Vader? I mean, he's got aspects of robotics to him, I guess.
So does RoboCop.
All right, sure. I'll give it to you.
It's the same thing.
RoboCop's more of a cyborg.
So is Darth Vader. He is a cyborg.
But
they just don't call it that
Darth
way.
Vader's personality. And it does RoboCop's.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, whatever. But RoboCop's a good movie. I watched it all the time. Everybody needs to watch it. And I would really love to have a weapon made like his, which they do make. I think Ruger or Glock makes...
Not Glock.
I think they do make an edition that looks like a RoboCop gun.
Okay. Yeah, I like the movie too. I just didn't like it as much as you, I guess.
I love it. Well,
and I don't remember watching it a lot when I was a kid.
I'm huge into the nostalgia.
It wasn't one that I caught a lot for some reason.
Every time we do a top 10, I always have a nostalgia aspect to it. And RoboCop is one of those nostalgia picks for me because I just remember watching it so much as a child.
Yeah.
And I wish I was still a child.
All right. Well, can I get on to my number? My number 4.
Number 4.
My number 4 is one you've mentioned, but it's placed where it should be.
Okay.
Not criminally low like you placed it.
Temple of Doom.
Because this is a People's Choice Award winner, Golden Globe winner for Best Motion Picture, Academy Award winner for Best Original Screenplay. One of the highest grossing or highest profiting movies of all time, Jerry. Which one?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Number 4, Beverly Hills Cop for a long time held records for the franchise. I
didn't know that.
Is one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. It was overturned with Titanic or something stupid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 1 made $234 million. And the production budget was...
Holy smokes.
Probably peanuts, my guess. It would be.
Do you know how much money Eddie Murphy has to have?
I think he is, or he was at one time, the highest grossing actor
of all time.
I don't think he is anymore.
No,
Mike Myers was up there for a while, too. Will Smith was up there.
Why can't I think of his name? Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. is
actually
the
no.
guy right
the
now.
Number 1 is Samuel L. Jackson.
What?
Because he was in all the
Because
Star
he's
Wars.
in every single movie ever made.
He was in Star Wars. He was in Marvel. He's in all of them.
And Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah. But for a long time, Eddie Murphy was because mostly of, all of his movies, of course.
Right.
But then the Shrek movies were huge.
Huge.
Yeah, it was a huge movie, but I think the sequels even then made way more money. It is actually, the first one is adjusted for inflation, the third highest grossing R-rated film of all time.
Wow.
At least previous to Deadpool, because that's not on.
That's what I was gonna say. Deadpool would be.
Deadpool was up
right?
there. Logan was up there. Venom's up there. I know. Well, that wasn't rated.
Logan or Deadpool are number 1. One of those two is.
I'm pretty sure Deadpool.
Yeah.
Or is Joker now? Joker is.
It's Joker. It's the highest grossing rated R movie of all time, and it should be.
No, it's garbage compared to all these other movies.
All
right. So anyway, we've talked about Beverly Hills Cop, how great it is, how great, how fun it is, how it was perfect in crossing all the lines for the different genres, and Eddie Murphy is amazing.
A treasure. My number 4. I grouped multiple movies into one, and I don't think I should because I didn't do that with others. So I'm just gonna pick the first one out of the 3. Well, out of the 5 now, but it is the original Rambo. Rambo First Blood. Oh, fuck, Chris. I love Rambo.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to be an army guy, right? and then I turned into an Army guy, and then I got out of the Army because I was like, I don't want to be an Army guy. And that movie is...
But John Rambo was he was Special Forces, right?
Yes.
Was it Army Special Forces?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was a Ranger?
He was a Green Beret.
I thought that was the Marines.
No.
Green Berets.
Marines don't have any Special Forces. They go to something else.
Don't they have
go
Delta
with the Navy.
Force or something?
Yep. Well, Delta Force is a different... That's like any military person can be in Delta Force. So it's all, what am I trying to say?
MARSOC, Marine Forces Special Operations Command. It's a component of SOCOM.
But that's not what John Rambo was.
John
Rambo was a Green Beret.
Oh, did you know they do have them now?
What?
The Marine Corps does now have them.
I did not know that.
I don't know when this is, as of 2015. Now, an elite branch of U.S. Marine Corps will officially be known as the Raiders.
Oh, no. I had heard of the Raiders, but I didn't know that they were doing that.
It was an old name they brought back, I guess. Anyway, irrelevant.
Most Marines went to Navy SEAL training. That's what they would do for Special Forces stuff.
Okay.
Army always does like either Ranger School, Green Beret stuff, Delta Force, like a lot of that kind of thing. But anyway, he was a Green Beret. Well, and he comes back. What I absolutely love about this movie is that it shows like the incredible like mental anguish this man is going through. Like he is in terrible pain, like in his mind all the time. Nobody understands him. There's only one colonel that can come back and like really speak to him and tell him like, listen, you have to do this.
And that guy's a jackass.
And he is. Yeah, but he's the only one that can get through to him. And Sylvester Stallone has like 6 words he says in the entire movie. Yeah. He doesn't speak. Like he doesn't have a lot of speaking to do in the movie. But holy crap, I just think it's really well done. I think it's an incredible movie. And I loved it, especially as a kid. Like I was like very captivated by what he was doing.
Right.
I love it. I had originally wrapped them like the first 3 movies all into one.
You really can't because they're all so different.
They are very, very different. And that's why I look at it and I was like, I can't do this. And so I have to go with First Blood. And I haven't. No, I haven't.
Last Blood or something like that?
It is, yeah.
I want to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen it either? Yeah. Good. I do want to see that. Actually, I heard really good things about it. So
yeah,
I hope it's good. He's like a cowboy now in the West.
I don't know anything about it.
He's like a cowboy. This is what he looks like.
All right.
But yes, again, with all of these movies, if you haven't seen any of these movies and you hear them in our top 10, that means you're an idiot and you need to watch this movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move on from your travesty of a pick. And we'll go to my number, is it 3?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my number 3. It is, again, like I like kind of the same thing as you. It was a group of movies, but I'll pick one since you did.
Temple of Doom.
Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. The Last Crusade, I know.
Sean Connery.
Now, I know everybody's favorite is Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is
not mine.
Amazing movie. It's incredible. But for some reason, I've always loved The Last Crusade, which is also an amazing movie. I don't know, something about that. All the Indiana Jones movies, first of all, I'm a massive fan. When I was a kid, I mean, I wouldn't say they were up there with Star Wars, but they were right there. I mean, it was like, that's what I watched all the time. Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Sure.
That's all that mattered to me. And that probably was always my favorite. I just love the whole aspect. Sean Connery, the stuff with him, between him and his dad, going to search for the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just amazing when they're having the battle on the tank, like and then it goes off the cliff. The whole thing is amazing.
It is great. I love Sean Connery, and I think he does a really good job in that movie.
Originally, I debated including Indiana Jones on an action movie list because while there is a lot of action, it is definitely more adventurous. Yeah. It'd be like an action adventure, but it definitely should be included. And honestly, of any movie I have in my list, even the ones that are in the 1 and 2 spot, those Indiana Jones movies are the ones that I would go back and watch the most. My 1 and 2, I have on my. I wouldn't go back and watch them as much as Indiana Jones, and I don't think any movies on these lists that we talked about hold up as well as Indiana Jones, like to watch to a modern day audience, because there were period movies. They were set in the 40s or 50s or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and they were so high budget and well done, and George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, the whole thing. So they're definitely the most current looking. But I would just say those would be the ones I go back to. My 1 and 2 I have on the list because like they really solidify that action genre for me. You know?
Okay.
And I just feel like, don't look.
I want to look.
Don't look.
I want to look at yours.
All right. That's my number 3, Indiana Jones. I'll do The Last Crusade.
So my
He
number...
chose wrong.
Who did?
He chose wrong.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you were telling me.
But nothing rivals the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when the horrible special effects of everybody's faces melting off.
The face melting. I forgot that's in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Frightening as a child, and like,
well, at the time though, that was a
dreams.
really big deal.
Yeah,
Like,
and watch it now. It is comically bad.
yes, it is
so
bad. I actually watched a behind the scenes of that on how they made it happen. There's a YouTube video. I don't remember what it's called, but it's how they made that face melting scene happen, and it was really cool.
I love that dude too. That's like, oh, maybe that's in Temple. I can't remember. The big fat guy that's like his guide. Indy. It's got like the little kids. No, it's in Last Crusade because they're in the Holy Land. Yeah.
I don't remember. All right, my number 3 is, and maybe a lot of people would say this is too low for a number 3 pick, but it's a number 3 and you have to live with it, is Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. I love it.
Live Free or Die Hard, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, Mel Gibson.
Bruce Willis.
Yes. Bruce Willis. You know, even though him and Kevin Smith don't get along, and I'm mostly on Kevin Smith's side with this, he made a good movie with Die Hard and all of the others to follow. I believe it is kind of a Christmas film. Because everybody watches it at Christmas.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you want to say that. I mean, it gets played at Christmas, so apparently it's a Christmas movie.
But this is the epitome. This is like one of the epitomes of an action film.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This was genre defining.
Yes. And I don't know what else I need to say about it. You know, everybody loves Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it more when I pick my number 2, Die Hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Die Hard is... I couldn't say that it's underrated because it's, you know, people love it, obviously.
Yeah, everybody.
It's amazing. Amazing action. The best part about it is it's just like a regular old cop dude, but he's doing things that are obscenely ridiculous.
Yes. And it's like he doesn't ever want to be there.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. But you want to know the best part about Die Hard?
Hans Gruber.
Yes. A little guy named Alan Rickman.
Yeah. Who acts the shit out of his part.
The best, one of the best, first of all, maybe the best villain portrayal in any movie ever.
How 100%.
How often do you watch a movie where you like root for the villain?
I know.
Because you're like, yeah, I want that guy to win. He's so amazing. He's so great.
And watching Hans Gruber fall off Yakatomi Plaza is like... I don't know if it's one of the best or worst scenes in a movie because, like you said, you kind of root for the guy.
Right.
You know, and then seeing his demise off of the building, it's like, what is going on? And Alan Rickman is, gosh, he died too young because he was going to do a lot of good things.
One of my favorite actors of all time. And
Incredible.
I don't think they can ever make a Sandman movie without him. He would have been perfect.
Don't even say that. I didn't even think about
Morpheus.
that. That's really sad. You're right.
Yeah. He would have been perfect. I don't know.
Wow.
I love Die Hard. And I love all the sequels to Die Hard too.
I know.
They're all great.
They are very good.
Even the newest one.
I don't really know if I've seen it. What's the newest one? Live Free or Die Hard?
No, there's a newer one than that. Die Hard. I don't remember.
Die Hard, Die Fast.
Yeah. Live Hard, Die Fast, Die with a Vengeance. No, Live Free or Die Hard, 2007. A Good Day to Die Hard.
Oh, yeah.
I never saw that. 2013.
I don't think I saw that either. My number 2, Christopher,
Yes, sir.
is one that you've also talked about, and it is one that's called Lethal Weapon.
Oh, nice.
Lethal Weapon has been one of my favorites because of the buddy cop thing.
Yeah.
And I honestly love Danny Glover.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
I mean, Mel Gibson's great, but I feel like Danny Glover is what makes that movie because he offsets Mel Gibson so well. Like, they just offset each other so well. And I don't know. It's a perfect buddy cop film. To me, you can't get any better than Lethal Weapon in that genre. And it's a perfect action movie.
Well, you can get one better because
You can get one
number
better.
one.
But my number 1 isn't a buddy cop film.
Oh,
so.
okay, gotcha.
And never mind. Go ahead. I will talk about it. Go ahead.
All right, my number 1, because I threw you off a little earlier, didn't I?
When
I said your pick was terrible. Because my number 1 is First Blood. All day long.
Oh, really?
It's an amazing movie. It is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
And not for the action. It's a genuinely smart, moving,
Yes.
interesting story, which is just like surrounded by action.
The action that's
That is
involved with it.
crazy, but not like over the top. But it also has the whole element of like all the traps that he's building out in the woods, which is just really cool. Like, it's cool in that respect.
Yes.
It's got awesome action. But it's like an unbelievable story of like trauma and
Yes, of coming home,
depression, and not
coming home from a place that you had to do certain things, and then you're
people not caring about you.
Right,
People, it's the ultimate like Vietnam story.
It
And
is.
I don't know.
He's like a scared animal, basically, that doesn't know how to handle himself back in civilian life and doesn't know what else to do. And like I said, that colonel comes back and is basically the only person that can talk to him, but he's talking to him to do a job when he doesn't want to have to do this stuff anymore. And he's like being forced into a corner, and then he does what he's like programmed to do, you know? And it's like the scene where he's like sitting in a building and he's hiding behind a counter and just crying.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, man. Like, that's
it's amazing and powerful.
intense.
And honestly, I never really appreciated it when I was younger because it came out before I was born. It was an early 80s movie.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, you watched the Rambo sequels.
Sure.
Which were completely different movies. I mean, they were...
Yeah, because then he's like completely...
over-the-top action movies.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any story there. There wasn't any emotion. There wasn't any heart. So honestly, I had never really seen First Blood, the first one, because I grew up with the sequels. I'd never really seen the first one until I was in college, believe it or not. And a buddy of mine, who we always watched movies together, and we were both kind of film snobs, I guess, he's like, have you seen First Blood? I'm like, well, yeah, of course I have. And then I had to really think about it. I'm like, I mean, I guess I have. I've seen all the Rambo movies.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, I don't know if I ever saw the first one. Because the sequels are just like throwaway.
Yeah, they are. And I love them.
They're fun.
I think they're so great.
But, they're throwaway. And then we went back and watched it, and I'm immediately just like blown away. I'm like, this is like a smart, independent film.
That's exactly how it was put out at the time. Well, it was put out as an action movie, but
I don't think it was a big movie.
they like snuck it in there as being, more like way deeper.
It made
than what people
$125
assume.
million in the box office in 1982. That's pretty good.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was great. I love that. I mean, is it as rewatchable as a lot of the movies on my list? No.
No, probably
But I think
not.
it was, I don't know, it just had a big effect on me.
I'm 100% in the same boat. But, so my number 1,
I know what your number 1 is.
I don't think you do.
I think I do.
Take a guess.
Well, it was on my list, right?
No,
Oh, okay.
it was never on your list.
I thought you said you had Big Trouble in Little China somewhere in your list.
Well, maybe.
Okay.
It's not number 1.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
All right, so my number 1, people are going to criticize me for. You are definitely going to criticize me for.
If you say Gremlins, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, it's not Gremlins.
It's not an action
But
movie.
this is a movie I have always loved. I will always love. I will always watch it. I'll never turn it off.
You have me
won't.
color me intrigued.
And it is an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Got any ideas yet?
Yeah, I know what it is, but that's from the 90s.
What?
What?
No, it's not.
Last Action Hero?
Predator.
Oh, Predator, of course. Yeah, I should have thought. I should have realized that.
Oh my gosh, I've always loved Predator as a villain, as an alien, as anything. I've wanted to be Predator my entire life. Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie is amazing. What's the guy's name that is
Jesse Ventura?
oh yeah, I'm like a sexual tyrannosaurus. That's what he says. He's like, he's putting Redman in his jaw, and he says, "You want some?" He's like, "No, thanks." He's like, "This stuff will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus." But just being out in the woods, and then
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, yes, and when
Carl Weathers is in The Mandalorian, right?
he is,
Yeah.
Carl Weathers is in that, and obviously in Rocky,
Yeah, he's
as well.
having a resurgence.
But I don't know. Everything about Predator I love. It's an incredible action movie.
I kind of forgot about Predator, to be honest. I mean,
Arnold
it's just
Schwarzenegger
a fun action movie.
covers himself in mud so that he can't be seen by the heat sensors on the Predator. Predator's invisible,
makes no
jumps through the
sense, by the way, 'cause
trees.
it's
No, it
heat
doesn't, but it's
sensor.
amazing. You're covering yourself
The
in
mud
mud.
is not going to cover up your 98-degree body
Cools
temperature.
you down, Chris.
First of all, how hot was it in that jungle?
He was cool under the mud.
But the jungle is probably 100 degrees.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie.
Oh my gosh, everything about it I love. Skinless bodies hanging from trees, awesome.
I still don't think I'd put it in my top 10, but I respect your decision. I'm not going to bash you.
The other black guy with the bug eyes that shaves his head, he's amazing and gets killed. The Indian that stands on the logs, what does he say? Oh, there's a quote there that I should be able to pull out because I used to say it all the time. I'm going to look up Predator quotes.
Wasn't that originally made for Sylvester Stallone? I think it was.
And guess who wrote that?
I don't know.
Shane Black, and also stars in it.
Not in the first one.
Yes, the first movie is written by Shane Black, and he
It
stars
says
in
written by Jim Thomas and John Thomas.
it. What? No. That's not true.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I've definitely heard that.
No, I have always known that it was written by Shane Black. I did not know of these Jim Thomas and John Thomas things.
Okay, you're right.
He stars in it.
Directed and written by Shane Black. I don't know why. Wikipedia is wrong because I looked it up somewhere else. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. Like,
Oh, maybe I was looking at Commando. Sorry.
you're an idiot.
Yeah, Commando.
I don't even know what else to say. It's amazing. Oh, Billy quotes. That's what I want. Because this guy, Billy, he's the Indian.
Oh, Keegan-Michael Key. Yeah, he was in that.
Keegan-Michael Key's in this?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man. We're all gonna die. He was awesome.
Is this what you're doing now?
That's what I'm gonna do. The rest of the show. Like as long as we're here, I'm going to do that.
So no, Keegan-Michael Key, I think was in the reboot. I wouldn't think he'd be old enough.
No,
to be
yeah, he's in the newest one.
Okay, makes
He's in the newest one that I saw that's not very good, and I wanted every Predator movie I have had such high hopes for. Predators versus Aliens, actually, I kind of enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
And then the one with
AVP, right? Alien versus Predator, wasn't it?
yes, AVP. That was pretty decent. But then there was another one with what's that guy's name? Adrian Brody. It was okay.
Okay, I don't know.
Predators.
Oh yeah,
Plural, maybe.
yeah. I remember.
Well, but then Predator 2 had Danny Glover in it. And it was in the I should have put that on my list. But it was in a city, like the Predator comes back to a city and Danny Glover's a cop in the town, and he's the one who starts figuring out that there's an alien murdering people. And at one point he walks into this like big trailer, but it's like a cooler. It's like a butcher locker cooler, you know, like where you hang meat, and he gets in there and there's meat hanging, but the Predator's in the same room, but it's a cooler. And obviously he could see the hot body, but he was like hiding in carcasses going around. Oh, it's an incredible movie too.
So I figured this out, and I don't want to burst your bubble, but Shane Black was in Predator, but he did not write or direct Predator.
I was always
wrote
under the
and
impression
directed Predator, the remake, in 2018 or whatever.
but I thought he made the original.
No, it was directed by John McTiernan and written by Jim and John Thomas, who also created the character. But Shane Black was in it.
I know he was in it.
Yeah, he was Hawkins. He was the radio guy.
Yeah, glasses, and he says something about.
But Shane Black did The Predator, which came out in 2018. That was written and directed by Shane Black.
Okay. Well, he has an off-color joke when they're riding on the chopper, like with Jesse Ventura, when he says, like, this will make you a sexual tyrannosaurus. He starts talking about a woman's vagina, and it's a relatively funny joke that I'm not going to repeat.
All right. Well, that's it. That's our top 10.
That is the top 10. We will get to the honorable mentions.
And that was fun. We should do 90s
Patreon.
action movies.
I agree.
Because there's a lot more
oh man, 90s?
in the 90s, because I feel like that was more, I was older.
Are we going to have to do a top 15 for that?
Well, we have 5 honorable mentions that will be Patreon exclusive tonight.
Yes.
So if you want to listen to our top 5 honorable mentions, and let me just tell you, I got some great ones.
Oh, I got better.
I got even better than his.
Well, but
you
mine
have
are
to subscribe on our patreon.com/snarfcomics. You have to subscribe at the $5 a month level, and you have access to all of our Patreon exclusive episodes, of which there are a bunch of them.
There are,
as well as Snarfioki and all kinds of fun stuff.
and script pages from Fourth Reich that I need to put out soon. There have been 5 pages put out at this point. There's going to be another page put out tomorrow, maybe.
Nice. All right. Should we do a little what we're watching? We got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, we got some what you're watching.
I got a couple, and 2. I got one's a big one, probably the same as you.
I'm positive it is. And it's what?
The Clone Wars.
Clone Wars. Yes. Season 7 of Clone Wars.
Let's talk about that last.
Okay. Well, I was told to watch this, right? From Chris, like every episode since it's been out. And I finally got into it, and I watched every episode, I think, in 2 to 2 days.
Of the whole series?
Of season 7.
Oh, okay. Okay, whatever.
Well, you had to wait week to week, and I got to watch it all
that's
in
true.
one shot.
All right, did you have any other what you're watching before we get into Clone Wars?
I have another. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't?
Yeah, I do have another one too.
Okay. Well, I have one that is an improv special
Okay.
on Netflix. Have you seen this?
Nope, no idea what you're talking about.
So it is Middleditch and Schwartz improv special. So it's Thomas Middleditch and Jason Schwartz.
Who's Jason Schwartz?
He was...
I know who he is. He was in Parks and Rec.
He's in Parks and Rec as... why can't I think of his name?
Ralphio?
John Ralphio. Yep. That's the guy. Apparently they're buddies. But they do an improv special where everything is made up on the spot. And it's multiple episodes. I've only seen 2.
What's it called?
They're our Middleditch and Schwartz improv special.
Huh. All right, I'll check it out. I like that. I like Middleditch a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not been a huge fan of the other guy, but I liked his character on Parks and Rec.
It's so worth it.
Yes?
It
Okay,
is so
great.
funny. The very first episode wrapped me in because they like talk to the audience and they're like, listen, this is an improv. We're going to make it up on the spot. It might be sloppy. It is what it is.
What it is, yeah.
And so they just ask a question to somebody in the audience and they start going through a story of this wedding and all this stuff. And it's wild right off the bat of this story that these people are telling them from their wedding and who they picked to be in the wedding. And then that's the story they go off of for their improv. And I was ready for bed. Like I was going to go to bed and I just happened to flip on Netflix. So I'm like, I'll fall asleep to some mindless thing. I saw that. It intrigued me. And I was like sitting up laughing out loud to things that they were doing because it's so funny.
Nice.
And Thomas Middleditch is so awkward and weird, but incredibly funny. Like he was built for improv.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
for
I think
sure.
he had to have stemmed from improv at some point because he's
he
just
did,
so
for sure.
good at it. And the same with Jason Schwartz. Like he's very, very good at it too. And the way they play off each other, amazing. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, those two are, you can tell when you see them in anything that they do a lot of improv. The other guy that you can tell that does a lot of improv that's similar to them, I feel like, is the guy, he's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but he was also on The League. He's like, what is his name?
I didn't watch much.
You didn't watch The
either one of
League?
those. Not much of it, no.
He's been in a bunch of stuff, but anyway. You wouldn't know him then if you haven't seen those two things, probably.
Is he a singer?
Yeah. He sings. He sings the theme song to Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Is it?
I'm just, no. He is
Oh, you
not.
made that up?
Yes,
Oh no, there's a
completely.
guy in the. It's either in The League or Blue Mountain State. I don't know. Whatever. That was my other what you're watching.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will check that out because I do like both of those people. And Interrupt. The guy I'm talking about, by the way, his name is Jason Mantzoukas. If you saw a picture of him, you'd know who he was.
I'll look him up.
Jason Mantzoukas. Anyway, what I have been watching, other than the big one, is a show that just came out on Amazon, and I quickly got completely sucked into it, and have been like watching it nonstop. I actually finished it. It is a show called Upload. It's the newest one that came out from Amazon. It's an Amazon original
Never
show.
even heard of this.
And it is a comedy, kind of a comedy. It's a comedy about basically what happens. It's set in the future,
Okay.
and what happens is after you die, they download your consciousness into a virtual world where you live in
Yes.
infinitely,
yes.
forever.
I do. Okay. I
If
know
you
exactly
can
what you're talking
afford
about.
to go there.
Yes.
And it's a comedy, and this guy, like, right in the first episode, he like dies of a tragedy, and
Murdered. Throat stab.
well, you find out later in the show, but he gets uploaded into this. His girlfriend, who's from a very wealthy family, that they just kind of like started dating. They're not like super, serious. She has him uploaded to where their family gets uploaded, which all the rich people get uploaded to this one. Lakeview is what it's called.
Perfect.
And it's just a great show. But they have these people, like this customer service people,
Yeah.
they're called angels. So if you're in there and you're like, Angel, I need something, they show up, and they're like real people that work for the company that manages the virtual world that you live within, that you're downloaded to.
Oh, so they're not in the downloaded world. They're real.
They can come in with like virtual reality goggles.
Right,
So
but
can
then-
other people. Like if you're dead and you're in the virtual world, your family can visit you with virtual reality goggles.
Oh.
You
okay.
actually attend your own funeral.
Wow.
And they have like a big screen TV, and you're there at your own funeral and stuff. So like you basically live forever. And they actually, like, people can rent sex suits that you put on, and you can actually have a relationship with people. Like if one person's alive, one person's dead, you can actually have a relationship.
Wow. A physical relationship,
Yeah, a physical
obviously.
relationship. And but the the thing about it is these afterlives is what they're called, are controlled by big tech companies, and they're like full of in-app purchases. So like everything you want to do is an in-app purchase.
Oh my.
Like if you want a bag of Doritos from your minibar, it's like $1.99 in-app purchase, or anything like that. So you have to have money, and there's also advertisers in there. So like,
Oh, so the physical the physical upload person has to have money to get that stuff.
yeah, they're not physical. I mean, they're in
No,
a
I know,
virtual
like
reality
it-
world. Yeah.
So
Or
he
somebody
have
has to-
hunger and want to eat things?
Yeah.
Weird.
You don't. I mean, it's all code, but they program it, I guess. But there's even advertisements in there. Like at one point, they're trying to get everybody to sell. They have a deal with Taco Bell to sell like chalupas, and these things are popping up all around as they're walking around, like It's free taco day. Try a chalupa. Or there'll be like a guy in the lobby like, you want to try some Orbit's gum? You know?
Yeah.
It's it's an interesting idea, and they really like nailed it about like pushing the social commentary in a way that's funny and
Really?
smart. And I really, really enjoyed it. The acting's a little bit hollow.
Okay.
The main guy is Robbie Amell. It's actually Stephen Amell's brother. The guy in
Oh,
Arrow.
that's the main guy.
He looks just like Stephen Amell, but younger.
Yeah.
And I didn't really. I did. There was one other person in it that I recognized. I don't know his name, but I've seen him in other stuff. Kevin Bigley, and he plays like a
Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon. I know him.
Kevin Bigley.
Oh, Bacon. Okay.
And he plays like the friend that he meets in this virtual world. And this guy had like, he was in Iraq and he had his legs, or he was in a war and he had his legs blown off. And he just like, he's like, well, screw this. So he just killed himself to get uploaded into this world. And he just lives there. And there's like lots of people that live there. And
they like choose to do that?
yeah, you choose to be uploaded. And you can actually like,
But what if you die in a car accident and
well, if
just
you die, you have to be uploaded before you die.
Oh, before you die.
So he did get into a car accident, but he didn't die. He got to the hospital, and then they're like, do you want us to try and fix you, or do you want to be uploaded? Like, you got to make a choice.
Wow.
Anyway, you got to watch it. I think it's definitely worth watching. I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but it's funny, very funny, a lot of heart, great like love story, really great love story.
Yeah.
And also like some mystery and intrigue that comes in later, because he's like, how did he? There's
Right, how did it
self-driving
happen?
cars. How do you get in a car crash? And there's a lot of that. And they set it up nice for season 2. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
How many episodes? How long are they?
I don't even know how long. I think they're hour episodes. There's like 10 of them.
So you chewed through
Maybe there were half an hour episodes.
You chewed through 10 hours worth of content
Yeah, I watched a lot of
in
it.
a blink of an eye?
Yeah.
My gosh.
Let me see it. Maybe they're only a half an hour, but anyway, it was really good, and I recommend it, and I thought it was awesome.
Cool.
Check it
Sounds
out.
good. I have nothing else.
Greg Daniels was the guy who made that, and he's made some other stuff.
Craig T. Nelson?
Yep.
Okay. I thought that's what you said.
The guy who wrote The Office made this show.
Wow. He's perfect.
Yeah, and he made Parks and Recreation as well.
No, yeah, well, I knew that.
So it's got some, and King of the Hill.
Oh,
and,
I didn't know
and
he
The
made
Simpsons, and Life's Too Short, and wrote on Saturday Night Live, and wrote on the Dana Carvey Show. So
Holy crap.
it's good.
Dude's got some creds.
It's good. It kind of reminded me
got some
of
street creds.
like a mix between Idiocracy, because it's kind of got that vibe to
That's
it, like
really
that
funny.
Mike Judge vibe to
Yeah.
it, which I guess makes sense since he worked on King of the Hill. It's definitely
The
got
Simpsons.
It's definitely got that vibe to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't remind me of The Office or Parks and Rec at all, but it's funny. It's good. All right. So the big one, of course, we both watched is the Clone Wars. Last week, I had a screaming match and pleading with you
You did.
to watch it.
To watch it. And I...
Just disgusted with you, really.
Right. You spit in my face, poured oil on my hair
Yeah.
for some reason. It wasn't anything about Clone Wars. You just poured oil on me. It was strange.
Rubbed salt in your wounds.
Yeah. And I have
Lots
many
of
open wounds
Yeah.
on my body. I'm basically a leper. And so that was painful.
A leopard?
Yeah. Snow leopard.
Nice.
And so I ended up going home and watching this show, starting from the beginning, obviously, and ending with the
And
finale
let me
the other
be
night.
clear. You never watched the Clone Wars before,
I've
right?
watched the first 2 seasons
Okay.
of Clone Wars. That's it. So I am...
How does a Star Wars fan such as yourself never watch Clone Wars?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know that they were coming out. I'm very out of touch most of the time, even though I've been more in touch because of the podcast, to be honest. But
Well, it's an older show. I mean, it was like 2009 to...
that's why. I mean, I just wasn't watching that stuff at the time. Like that's the year I got married, and I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Okay.
What else do you want me to say?
I don't want you to say anything else.
Like, you just keep like interrogating me over not watching this show. Well, I did watch season 7 because you told me like, don't worry about watching any of the other seasons. Just watch season 7. So I did that. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, like the first 4 episodes, I mean, they were fine. They were good. I think the self-contained story is fine for those 4 episodes, but
I totally agree with you. And I kind of said that too. I'm like, they're good. They're fine. They're fun. They're better if you had seen season 6 because it kind of more ties into that storyline.
I'm sure it probably makes sense more from that, but it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just something that I wasn't attached to personally. Like the story itself didn't.
Well, the big reason of that is because you haven't. That was clone focused, and you have to watch the first 6 seasons to get attached to the clones. Like as people
for their characters. Yeah.
So you have no reference point to care.
Yeah. And I didn't. So it was good. It was a good watch. I mean, they're fine. I just wasn't attached to the characters. But then as soon as episode 5 hit, I was like, this is the story right here. Like this is what's going to happen.
And it kind of even isn't.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not what the actual season is about, but that story, that second self-contained story for Ahsoka Tano is great.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
And that's 5 through 8.
Yes, 5 through 8, and then there's 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
For the last 4. And but those middle episodes I loved, absolutely loved. They were great. But then once you get into 9, 10, 11, 12, it's like, holy.
I actually wasn't a huge fan
balls.
of like 5 and 6 when she first meets
fine.
the sisters and stuff, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But yes.
I mean, 7 and 8 were very good, I thought.
7 and 8 were great, but 5 and 6 I was like, meh.
But I like those, all I was saying is like I like those episodes a lot better than the first 4. So then the next 4 as a self-contained story, I think is
1 through 4 incredible. Is more cartoony, and
it really is.
It's a continuation of an early season 6 storyline when the clones, when Fives, the one that I guess I won't spoil it, but Fives discovers that there's a problem with the clones.
Yes,
and this is like a partial wrap up of that, and it's fine, but it's just more like fun than anything. Mm-hmm. But yes, you're right. So 9 through 12 is when the meat meets the potatoes.
Yeah, the meat and the potatoes get together, and they mash it up. You know what I mean?
Like and do a meat potato smoothie.
Oh, they make themselves into a shepherd's pie.
With a gravy sauce on the side.
Which is a shepherd's pie.
Yes.
It's I don't even know what to say. Yeah, you can get mine out of there too, Christopher. Chris is digging into a refrigerator. So episode 9 starts off. I'm not going to give anything away, I guess, because if nobody's watched it, then I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's very Ahsoka Tano heavy.
Don't spoil it, and just like know that if you're a Star Wars fan, you have to watch this.
Well, what I am going to say is that like Ahsoka Tano is obviously she was part of the Jedi Order, but then she has been removed from that at this point and exiled.
Which is a storyline from season 5.
5, yeah. But anyway, she comes back hardcore in this one and is doing things that you want to watch. And then Darth Maul is involved, and she has a lightsaber battle with Darth Maul, which we talked about in the last episode, that is just really incredibly done for an animated show. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you do this for an animated show.
It's actually motion captured. They got the actual actor who played Darth Maul.
Dean Park or
Ray Park.
Ray Park.
In Phantom Menace. They got him to come in and they did mocap. Now they animated over top of it still, but it's so fluid.
It's still like it looks like Darth Maul from the movie. It really does.
It's incredible.
And just all of the Ahsoka Tano stuff, even with like she does a ton of blocking lightsabers or for blasters. Like everybody's shooting at her all the time, right?
Effortlessly.
Like, and she just constantly blocking every blaster bolt.
She's very powerful.
Oh my gosh. It's incredible. And that I remember texting you, like, I just want to see like her powers. I want to see her capability. And you're like, just wait.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't necessarily happen to see all of her capabilities, but she just does more and more and more. And she is an incredible, like she's just an incredible character. And I loved every bit about it. And she's very heartfelt in the way of like the very last episode where they were talking about these clones because Order 66 happens and, you know, the clones turn to stormtroopers basically at this point. And there's a quote, I was going to post it on our social media and I couldn't find it again because I follow a Star Wars Facebook group. It's just like Star Wars Underworld or something, or Underground. And they posted a clip from the finale, and it was her talking to the commander. What's his name? Rex. And
see, if you watch the rest of the series, you would be extremely invested in Rex. He's one of the main characters of the series.
Oh, I could easily tell that.
So Rex
for sure.
and Ahsoka and Anakin are the main characters of the series.
Yeah.
Basically.
And she was talking to them about, she was talking to him about the clones, and he's like, they would die for this. Like they're going to die for anything that they have to do because they aren't, like, this is what they're programmed to do. He's like, they're going to die for this ship. And she says like something along the lines like, that's fine that they're going to die, but I don't want to be the person that kills them.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh man, like this is intense. It was so good.
So it's incredible, but and the fight between her and Darth Maul, it's great. But that final episode is, can we put it on the top 10 action movies list of all time?
We should.
It's unbelievable.
It's nonstop.
It's nonstop action. It's literally like shit you've never seen before. I don't even know how they made it. It looks like it's a freaking movie.
It does
look like a movie. The cinematography is incredible. I can't imagine how much money they spent on it. And you know,
once you get that Disney Plus money,
whether you are satisfied or not with the ending, I mean, it's a beautiful ending.
Absolutely.
Interesting, intriguing, but
I didn't have a problem with it. You think there's a problem with the ending?
No, it was an amazing ending. It isn't, I want more, I wanted more, or I want more. I don't know what the answer is, but
I mean, there's going to be more. They're going to make another one.
No, they're not.
They're not?
That's it. That's it. It's over.
I thought they were making a season 8.
No, that's it. And that's why they ended it like that.
Oh.
I don't want to give away the ending because, I mean, I guess I could say spoilers, but it's got a very poetic ending with a lot of closure, but at the same time, I don't know that it was satisfying.
I think it was.
But the problem with ending the Clone Wars is you know what it's ending into.
Yes.
So you can't have a happy ending.
No, not in that storyline, but you can have a little more closure to...
I thought it was brilliant the way they did it because...
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was amazing. That last episode was really amazing. Those last 4 episodes are amazing.
Yeah, they really are.
And I got sucked into it, and as this was going along, I was watching week to week. You know, I couldn't get enough, so I went back and watched season 6 again because I wanted to remember the storyline from the clones because I couldn't really remember. And so I watched season 6, which is very different, but it's amazing. And you should watch season 6 first of all because the last 4 episode arc is all about Yoda, 100%. Oh. And it's about how he discovers immortality.
Yeah, I have to watch that.
Which is a huge part of the story
of every
of Star
Jedi.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so season 6 is great. And then I'm like, well, but I thought in season 6 they told why Ahsoka got cast out of the Jedi Order. No, that was in season 5. So I went back and watched season 5. That's incredible. The whole season, first off.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone back and watched 3 and 4 yet. I watched 1 earlier this year. Mm-hmm. And 1 is fun, but very just cartoony. I think
it is.
It
it's
really
very
starts
episodic.
I think it starts to really pick up around season 3 and beyond, where I feel like it starts with these, and I told you this, it starts with a structure of these mini arcs. So 12 episode seasons, or, well, actually, seasons 1 through 5 are 22 episode seasons, I believe.
Oh,
because that was when it was on TV. Mm-hmm. And then they brought it back on Netflix, I believe, and made season 6. That was well after the show was off air. So they made like a 12 episode season.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
And then they came back and made season 7. My guess was that was supposed to be like a 22 episode season. But, you know, it got canceled. So,
right.
But Dave Filoni had the story already fleshed out. So, no, I just think it's amazing. I've always told you, and I've always said, I'm like, Ahsoka Tano is my favorite Jedi. She's one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
It's unbelievable.
And, you know, you never really watched the Clone Wars, so you don't really know why. But now maybe you get a better glimpse at it. Now, you don't have the full picture until you go back and watch all the earlier seasons.
Right, and I absolutely plan on doing that, and I need to do it because this sold me on it big time. Because the first 2 seasons didn't really sell me on the show too much, just because each episode was like its own thing.
Yeah,
it felt like nothing tied into each other, and it was very cartoony. But I feel like now I need to watch 3, 4, 5, 6. You know,
like I told you earlier, start backwards. Go 6, 5, 4, go that way.
That's crazy to me that would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think
okay
it's
to do.
Maybe it's just because I've seen it all before, so I, in the back of my mind, know the storyline. But as the show progressed, it got more adult oriented.
Okay.
It got more violent.
Yeah.
It got more dark. It's very dark. Show,
It is.
especially in seasons 5 and 6. The Clone Wars is what makes it hard to reckon Darth Vader with the truth of the movies that you watched as a kid.
Right, because
you're like, there's
Anakin,
no way that Anakin could do this.
But he does.
He does, but the Clone Wars makes it hard because he's.
Well, I know, but it's just because
he's like awesome. He's like amazing.
It's because of Palpatine.
Yeah, but it's hard to buy it after you watch 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, and it's hard to see him turning that evil, and maybe that's because they just haven't done a good enough job.
It's all because of fear.
Yeah,
You know,
and
fear leads to hate leads to anger leads to the dark side.
there's something about suffering in there.
Maybe that's what it is. Fear leads to hate leads to suffering leads to the dark side. I don't know. It's something like that. But either way, it leads to the dark side, and that's where he ended up.
Yeah. Well, and the ending of the Clone Wars has a big part to do with that.
It does.
Because that was, mini spoiler, but not really. There's a moment at the very end of season 7 where Darth Vader, a.k.a. Anakin Skywalker, loses his last piece of humanity.
And what blew me away so I rewatched a couple episodes before I watched the finale. I just wanted to watch a couple episodes leading up to that just to make sure I was like on.
You missed the tie into Revenge of the Sith, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. And then I heard it.
She felt it.
Yes, she felt it. And you could hear it where he says, power, ultimate power in her head. And I was like, holy smokes, like that's happening right now.
Yep.
And it blew me away. And Amy was sitting next to me. She was kind of on her phone. But I sat up. I was like, did you hear that? Like, did you hear what just happened? And I started explaining it to her, but she looked at me like, nah, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I get bummed because I want somebody else to be as excited about it as I was. But
yeah,
that part is what I did miss the first time.
I did too as well.
And golly,
well,
that's
I caught it,
good.
but I didn't know exactly what was going on. I thought that was what was going on. But I couldn't specifically remember the scene from the movie.
Because you could hear Mace Windu talking. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You could hear the Emperor, and then all of a sudden the whole power part, which we know what happens. And that's when he switches, and she knew something happened. Like she's like, I'm worried about Anakin. Something just happened.
Yeah. See, episode 11 was great, but it wasn't my favorite episode.
It's pretty good.
But see, episode 12, the last episode.
Oh well, yeah,
it's insane. Like just visually,
you can't beat the 12th.
It looks
episode.
so good. It really does. It looks
honestly, I think it looks better from throughout the season. So I feel like the production got better leading up to the
There's
end
no
of the
doubt about
season.
that. I think they just knew that 4 episodes was
Needed
such
to
a
be,
big deal
yeah.
that they spent a ton of money on it. Boatload of money. I can't even imagine how much. But it just kind of really, I sit down and I think about it and I go, it really pisses me off that this is so good. The Clone Wars is so good. Rebels is so good. The Mandalorian is so good. And they couldn't manage to make the movies better.
Yeah.
Or even in the ballpark.
I know.
Story-wise, they were beautiful to look at.
they were great.
I hate to say this, but after I watched Clone Wars, Rise of Skywalker came out. We all sat down for dinner. We're like, let's watch Star Wars. It's hard to get through the beginning of that movie. It is rough road.
Really? I haven't watched it again since we saw it the second time in theaters.
And maybe that's just because I've seen it a bunch of times, but there shouldn't be a point, because I've probably seen that movie 4 times already, or 3 anyway. I saw it in theaters 3 times, I think.
Yeah, you did.
But like, I don't need to see it again. And that's sad.
It is sad.
To
Like
me.
those movies should be something you would want to watch
And
all the time.
of them, actually. I don't really need to see any of them again.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I didn't like them, but I don't need to see them again. And I'll rewatch those prequel movies all day long.
I know. That's weird. That's weird to say. I guess I don't know if I'd watch the prequel movies all day long, but
There's so much cringe. Oh, man. And Rise of Skywalker, right after the beginning, when they do the light speed jump, and then he ends up back at the base.
yeah.
And they do that whole thing with Poe and Finn and Rey, where they like all speak in like one word quick, like quips back and forth to each other. They're like, "Did you? Do you light speed jumped?" Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh, I can't. I can't deal with this shit.
I don't remember that part.
But I shut it off just because, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but I do remember, the second half of that movie is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is.
We didn't get to the second half of the movie that night. So
All right. Well, I think we're at the end here, Christopher.
we're at the end. We're going to do some Patreon exclusive.
Yes.
And so check it out. It's snarfcomics.com patreon.com.
Wow. Can you speak? Patreon.com/snarfcomics. Check us out if you can. If you want, subscribe. Give us $5. Give us $1. Give us $10. Give us $100 if you want. It's all up to you whether you want to do it or not. We don't force you into it. It's your generosity that keeps us thriving.
Yeah, and if you want to check out our big spectacle Snarf madness, you've missed it. But you can go back and be a part of the fun still.
They're recorded and in history, and you can listen to them anytime you want and go back from number 70 to 74, or is it 68 to 74?
Don't even know. Doesn't
Something
matter
like that.
anymore.
They're labeled Snarf Madness.
Closing in on our 100th episode.
Our winner was Craig Blagojevich. Yeah. No, Craig Blazekovich. Kurg Blaze is the winner. He will be getting his prizes at the end of the month. Second place was Ian Hicks. He will be getting his prizes at the end of the month, along with our normal Patreon Snarf bundle subscribers. They will get them at the end of the month because that is the scheduled time.
Actually, they're overdue.
No, 2 months.
Yeah, that was
Oh yeah,
April.
Right. It was April. Hey, either way, you're getting them. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it for this week. Snarf Talk. I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See you.